Hey guys, welcome back to Crazy Dave's Kitchen. Now today I'm going to talk about something that comes up a lot, and that is SensorPush. You're like, okay, SensorPush, what is that? Well, for those of you who don't know, that's these little cubes, okay? They monitor the temperature and humidity of your fridges. These things are absolutely amazing. I'm actually telling people this is a must. Every single dry ager out there must have at least one. Now I got a couple of them. Now what am I going to show you today? The question that comes up is how do you calibrate the temperature and how do you calibrate the humidity? That's two questions that comes up. But here's a third one. How do you identify which one is the right one? I mean, you'll see I've got a couple of them and only two. Let's turn them all over right side. There you go. The little coffee bean can zoom in there. Now, there's only two of which I actually put labels on. These two right here. Okay? So I kind of know what those are. But what about those three? So how do I know what they are? I didn't write them down. Well, I'm going to show you guys how within the SensorPush app, how to actually be able to identify your SensorPush. So that way, if you kind of forgot what you called it or anything, or you want to do shelf 1, shelf 2, shelf 3, shelf 4, shelf 5, or whatever you got, and you want to make sure you got the right one, I'm going to show you how to. Okay, so you got me. I'm going to show you guys how to properly identify your little cubes, your little SensorPushes here, okay? Well, first, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to calibrate it. SensorPush says that these should be done every couple months, give or take. It's been a while since I've done mine, so stay with me. I'm going to show you how it's done. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is launch your SensorPush app. Now you'll see I've got a couple different sensors here. I got shelf 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, you're going to go into it. Don't worry about these. These are the alerts because they're out of my cooler and I have them programmed to alert me if it's outside of specified temperature and humidity ranges. Alright, now we got all that cleared up. See where it says add sensor? Click on that and you get this screen. Simply put the cube on and you'll notice immediately this one here says shelf 5. Okay, now we're going to keep doing it. Now you see where it says shelf 4, so I've already identified 2 now. Now we're going to keep going through this. Now this one here still says shelf 4, but if you watch closely, it's going to change to the next one I grabbed here. Let's see. Alright, we're waiting for it to register. Alright, it says sensor found, and this one still says SensorPush number 4. Don't worry about it. I think because I was having a problem with number 4. Now, here it is. This is number 5. So as you can see, every time I put the cube on it, it's going to identify what cube that has been registered to the phone itself. Now look at this one, shelf 2. So now we've identified 5, number 4, and number 2. Now we keep doing it for each one of the cubes, as you can see right here, shelf number 1. Simple, easy. That's how you identify your SensorPush cube.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now I just showed you guys how to identify each one of your sensors. And why is that important? Is when you're doing your calibration, you want to know which one are you actually calibrating. So then what I did, I bagged them up and I labeled them, number 5, number 3, number 4, number 1, and number 2, or however it is that you want to call your SensorPushes. Now, I put them in a Ziploc bag. They're kind of loosely in here, okay? Alright, now I'm using a bucket here of water, a little bit of water, a little bit of ice, and I'm using 2 separate reference points, which is our meat thermometers, and you'll see right here, I don't know if you can read it, it says like 32.8 right now, and this one here says 32, so I'm using 2 different reference points. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put these into the water, okay, and I'm actually going to clip them on the side with a binder clip to make sure that they do not get completely submerged. Simple. We're going to leave them in there for a few minutes. We'll be right back. Okay guys, so now what I did is I went ahead and I put the SensorPushes into the container. I put a wooden spoon over it to kind of hold them down. And I don't know if you can see right here in this little thing, it says 33 right now. And this one here says 32.1. I'm still letting them sit there. Now, we're going to let it sit for about 30 minutes before we actually go into the SensorPush app and start making the calibration. Now again, a 1 degree differential is not bad. We want to try to get it ideal. So that's why you always want to use a good reference point. So I'm using these 2 meat thermometers that I kind of know, and I believe this one was off by 1 degree last time I calibrated it. So again, you want to use a really good reference point first. Let the temperature settle down with the cubes, because remember, they were sitting out here at room temperature. So now they gotta settle down and get cold. Takes about 30 minutes, give or take, and then we'll go from there. We'll be right back. Now right here, you'll see the temperatures, calibration, and you'll see the humidity. Plus or minus as necessary till you get the calibrated target. Okay guys, so now that the SensorPushes have been calibrated for temperature wise, and I forgot to actually show you guys on an actual video of how to plus or minus the actual temperature here, but I will do a screenshot real quick. I'll try to show you a little bit different on how to do that, very simple. But now we went ahead and removed them from the actual ice bath. I stuck them in this kind of like a Ziploc, it's a fruit saver bag, but it's a Ziploc type. Kind of thick, so I wanted to use that. I used 2 of the Boveda humidity packs here, and I always recommend leaving a lot of air in it, okay? And stand them up. So you'll see that those little sensors right here, this little tiny circle right about here, and you'll see one right over here. That's the actual sensor. So you don't want to block that. Let this sit out overnight. You cannot calibrate the humidity while in the cooler. So these have to sit at room temperature. Now again, I'm not worried at this point as far as the temperature, as we've already calibrated that. Let this sit overnight, and we're going to come back and we're actually going to calibrate the humidity here to exactly what the Boveda packs are. Now the Boveda pack I have right there says 75%. Now sometimes they sell an 80, 85%. You have to make sure that both of the packs here are identical, or it will confuse the sensors. So make sure that they both are 75%. We'll come back in about an hour or so. We'll look at the humidity, and then we'll let it sit overnight and look at it again. How do you raise and lower the temperatures? Very simple here. So you're going to scroll all the way down, and you're going to click on each one of the individual sensors, and you hit configure. Now you'll see what says calibration. It's plus or minus. So on temperature, you plus or minus until you get to 32. On relative humidity, same thing, plus or minus as needed.